I must have finally fallen asleep because I woke from a horrible nightmare. I was panting. Tears streamed down my cheeks. The moon was wrapped in fog. Crenshaw placed a paw on my shoulder. Gently, he butted his head against mine. Bad dream, I asked. I don't remember it really. I was in a cave, I think. I was yelling for someone to help me and nobody would listen. I'll help, said Crenshaw. I'll listen. I turned to him, looking in his eyes. I could see myself reflected. I can't go with my family, I said. My own words surprised me. I can't live in the minivan again. I don't want to have to worry anymore. I'm tired, Crenshaw. I know, he said. I know. I blinked. The answer was obvious. I had to run away. It wasn't going to be much of a trip. I just had to ask Marisol if I could stay with her. She had plenty of room. I could help around the house. I leaped up. Crenshaw watched me, but he didn't say a word. It wasn't like I had a lot to pack. I grabbed my pillow and my keepsakes bag, some clothes and my toothbrush. The way I figured it, I'd go over to Marisol's house before my family woke up. Marisol was an early riser. She wouldn't mind. It was hard to find a piece of paper and a pencil, but I managed. Aretha and Crenshaw watched me chew on the pencil as I tried to decide what to write. What should I say, I asked, as much to myself as to Crenshaw. Tell the truth to the person who matters most, said Crenshaw. You. And so I did. Dear Mom and Dad, here are the facts. I'm tired of not knowing what's going to happen. I'm old enough to understand things. I hate living this way. I'm going to live with Marisol for a while. When you figure things out, maybe I can join you. Love, Jackson. P.S. Aretha likes to sleep on a pillow, so don't forget. P.S. Robin needs to know what's happening too. In an envelope, I put $10 I'd made from walking the Goocher's Dachshunds. On the outside, I wrote, to cover 2 unfortunate incidents where I used very bad judgment. Please give $7 to Safeway for 2 jars of Gerber chicken and rice and $3 of Pet Food Express for a cookie shaped like a cat. Tap, tap, tap. It was Robin, knocking at my door. Jax, I dropped my pencil. Go to sleep, Robin, it's late. It's scary in my room. It'll be morning soon, I said. I'll just wait here by your door, Robin said. I have Spot to keep me company. I looked at Crenshaw. He held up his paws. Don't ask me. Human children are infinitely more complicated than kittens. Go back to bed. Please go back to bed, Robin, I pleaded. I don't mind waiting, she said. I stood. I went to the door. I hesitated. I opened it. Robin came in. She had Spot, her pillow, and her Lyle book. I looked at her. I looked at my note. I crumpled it up and tossed it aside. We read Lyle together until we both fell asleep. When I awoke, Robin, Aretha, and Crenshaw were spread out on my mattress. Robin and Aretha were both drooling a little. Sitting on the floor across from us were my mom and dad. They had on their bathrobes. My dad had my crumpled note flattened out in his lap. Good morning, my mom whispered. I didn't answer her. I didn't even look at her. Fact, my dad said softly. Parents make mistakes. A lot, my mom added. Fact, said my dad. Parents try not to burden their kids with grown-up problems. Sometimes it's hard to do. Robin stirred, but she didn't wake. Well, it's hard being a kid too, I said. I was glad I sounded so angry. It's hard not to know what's happening. I know, said my dad. I don't want to go back to that time, I said, my voice getting louder with each word. I hated you for putting us through it. It wasn't fair. Other kids don't have to sleep in their car. Other kids aren't hungry. I knew that wasn't true. I knew lots of other kids had it worse than I did, but I didn't care. Why can't you just be like other parents, I demanded. I was crying hard. I gasped for breath. Why does it have to be this way? My mom came over and tried to hug me. I wouldn't let her. We're so sorry, sweetheart, she whispered. My dad sniffed. He cleared his throat. I looked over at Crenshaw. He was awake, watching me carefully. I took a deep, shuddery breath. I know you're sorry. That doesn't change the way things are. You're right, said my dad. No one talked for a few minutes. The only sound was Crenshaw purring gently, and only I could hear it. Slowly, very slowly, I began to feel my anger changing into something softer. It's okay, I finally said. It's really okay. I just want you to tell me the truth from now on. That's all. That's fair, my dad said. More than fair, my mom agreed. I'm getting older, I said. I can handle it. Well, here's another fact, said my dad. Last night I called the guy who wanted to buy our guitars. He told me his brother owns that music store down by the mall. He needs an assistant manager. His brother also has a garage apartment behind the store that won't be occupied for a month. It'd give us a roof over our heads for a little while anyway. Maybe some more work. That's good, right? I asked. It's good, my dad said, but it's not a certainty. Here's the thing, Jackson. Life's messy. It's complicated. It'd be nice if life were always like this. He drew an imaginary line that kept going up and up. Life is actually a lot more like this. He made a jiggly line that went up and down like a mountain range. You just have to keep trying. What's that expression? Asked my mom. Fall down 7 times, get up 8? More fortune, cookie wisdom, said my dad, but it's true. My mom patted my back. Starting today, we'll be as honest with you as we can. Is that what you want? I looked over at Crenshaw. He nodded. Yes, I said, that's what I want. All right, then, said my dad. It's a deal. Fact, said my mom. I'd really like some breakfast. Let's go see what we can do about that. All right.